Welcome to another episode of BenchTalk. I'm your host, Tom Gerard. This week I've got a special episode for you. I'm sitting down with returning guest Loribelle Spirovski, and we're going to be chatting about Sydney Contemporary that's just happened last week in Sydney. And welcome to the podcast again, Loribelle.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone.
So this was my first year at Sydney Contemporary as a visitor and as an exhibitor. What was the case for you? Like, how many years have you been part of this?
This is technically my first time as well, because I was in during COVID, so before it wasn't physical. When the fair was just digital, that was my debut, but this is the first proper physical one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a prime location with the Nanda Hobbs booth.
I know, right? That was so much foot traffic. It was great.
Yeah. Like for those of you who weren't there, the Nanda Hobbs booth was one of the first booths to see when you get there, and it was also in between the bar and the food area, so lots of people lining up, and you couldn't miss it. You know, it was the prime spot. But I was speaking to other galleries now saying that Nanda Hobbs have been there since the beginning, and they've sort of been in there for a long time.
Yeah, they're very good strategists. No, exactly. I think because, you know, at the helm is an athlete in Ralph Hobbs, so he approaches being a gallery director just like a professional rower.
So when you did Sydney Contemporary online during COVID, was that with Nanda Hobbs as well?
That was also with actually, no, that was with Brenda May Gallery when I was briefly with them before they closed due to COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. One of the things I noticed from speaking to artists at the art fair was some of them have jumped around. We've been an exhibitor there with different galleries, and they'll be like, "Oh, there's my previous gallery is opposite where I'm showing now, and it's next door to this other gallery I showed with," and it's like lots of ex-partners in the room, if you know what I mean.
Totally.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, I didn't have quite that experience, but I have seen like people jumping from one sort of the gallery staff, seeing them in different galleries. That's kind of my experience.
Yeah. Well, I guess it is an industry, and there's lots of movement that happens. And, you know, if people are looking for the right fit, you don't want to settle, so to speak.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
in all areas of life.
Amen.
Yeah.
Especially art.
Yeah, exactly. So, let's get into some of the standouts. So who are some of your favorite galleries or artists or booths, or, you know, what was a standout for you?
So mine was I am very random. It's not necessarily like the best work. It's whatever happened to kind of strike me and my mood that day. So one pick for me was Cybele Cox's sculptures. Unfortunately, I didn't see which gallery she's with, but she kind of does these, I guess they're porcelain sculptures. They're quite, she's also in the Wynne Prize, so that's what I was introduced to her work there. And she makes these kind of like Greco-Roman looking things, but with sort of really quite cheeky details, beautiful glazing. Yeah, that's my first pick.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess my first one was Justin Lee Williams. It was showing with Coma. Been a fan of his artwork for years, and only ever really seen it on Instagram. And to see artwork in the flesh, like there was a case with so much artwork that I was familiar with different artists, and to see it in the flesh, it's just a game changer. You
Completely,
in the sense of their scale, their technique, the texture, and I guess the energy within the artwork as well. But yeah, just when I walked around the corner and saw Justin Lee Williams's work, it was like, oh, I went and visited it probably about 8 times while I was at the show.
And I think that's what I did too. I kind of, like I was saying earlier, I didn't actually get a chance to see the entire fair, but I found myself returning and being drawn to the same works, which is very interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if I saw the whole thing or not, but I did spend 4 days there, and there were booths, and like there were like I didn't even make it to the photography room until the fourth day.
Me neither. I didn't get to the works on paper, which
Mm,
is
yeah,
so
that was like an
sad.
art fair within itself.
It
As opposed
is.
to,
It
as
is.
yeah, there was a lot to see, an overwhelming amount of artwork. But that's why I feel that anyone who does go there, it's worthwhile getting a week pass, because you can't do it in a day. It's just too overwhelming.
And you get oversaturated. I mean, I have my thoughts on art fairs in general. To me, it's like it's not an ideal way to see art, because you kind of just get like bombarded with it. It's you get oversaturated. That's why I couldn't see the whole thing. I mean, also I had to be on call to keep returning back to Nanda Hobbs and talk to people. But yeah, what's your experience in terms of how you felt at the end of it?
I felt exhausted at the end of every day, every visit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I guess yeah, you can see why they put like they prioritize certain booths to be at the front,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
can get fresh eyes on the artwork and it's exciting. I feel that by the time you get near the back half of it, you're just starting to whiz past artworks that probably deserve a bit
Absolutely.
more time and attention. But like with everything, with all galleries and art institutions and art fairs, I usually just take what resonates and leave the
Yep.
rest. But I did
Yep.
find I was returning to things that I skimmed over the first couple of days, but then
Mm.
actually spending some quality time with with different booths and artworks.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it was interesting seeing who came as well, sort of just like I'm partly there for the people watching, and seeing who returned. And I mean, obviously, it's a bit of a fashion show as well. Yeah, you get kind of a wide range of audiences.
Definitely, definitely. All right, who's next on your hit list?
Okay, so actually, I didn't realize that they were also Filipino artists, but in Yavuz Gallery, it was Isabel and Alfredo Aquilizan. Aquilizan. So they had this it was like a metal wing. I don't know if you remember this, but it was like a metal wing and it was made of different farming implements and sort of the almost like little scythes, and it created like the feathers. And it was just sort of really impactful, and it kind of looked like the wing of an angel of death or something. Really
Mm,
gripping.
yeah, I remember that. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, well, I've got like Amez Yavu's gallery was one of my standouts as well.
Yep. Yeah,
I
for
really
sure.
loved
For sure.
seeing the Rico Rennie paintings they had there.
Yeah.
Abdul Abdullah, Billy
Yep.
Bain, and Vincent
Namatjira, yeah.
Namatjira, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he's always so fun. I think he has such a great sense of humor. Kind of like the epitome of like the Aussie larrikin spirit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a great booth. And also I noticed with a lot of the booths, they were turning over the artwork throughout the
Yep.
art fair, which is it's good. You return to some of your favorites, and they've got new works on display.
Exactly.
Mm,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah,
And it feels like a whole different experience every day.
yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally. One of the ones I got here on my list is William McKinnon's paintings at Hugo Michel Gallery.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Hugo Michel was one of my other standouts.
Yeah, they that was like I've followed William McKinnon's work for nearly a decade now, and I'd never seen it in the flesh. And to see
Same.
those
Same.
three large paintings, and
Mm.
like him and I use a lot of the same materials as well, so there's
All
a lot of ink
right.
in there, and he adds a lot more texture to his artwork than I do. But
Yep.
just to see how he uses things with a different, the same tools with a different mindset. It's yeah.
I think that perfectly sums up why it's so important to go to things like this, because you really just get a hit of like the same medium used in such a variety of ways. And you kind of almost get this sense of all of art history kind of collapsed in one moment in time, because you see people who are like referencing, early 20th century paintings, and then even before that, and some who are like really decidedly contemporary. And it's just wonderful because you get a sense of how rich the visual language is.
Yeah, definitely. Just, yeah, his use of shadows were, like, You know, it takes a lot to sort of just paint a whole, like, a half your canvas, like, black, and it's just a big shadow.
Totally.
You know, it's like you got this
Totally.
big area, people tend to wanna fill it up and things like that, but, there's that restraint
Absolutely.
that really stand out for me.
I totally agree. Actually, I felt similarly about Harriet Bryant's paintings on silver platters. The sorry, my cat is just like chucking up a fur ball if you can hear that. Yeah, so she was also in the Win Prize. The wall of silver platters, and there was like a TV there. That was incredible as well, very powerful. And I love how small they were. It was just kind of like a really perfect metaphor of like, here is the land on a silver platter. But she also had a bit of a sense of humor, which I think always rescues kind of more politically leaning artworks from just being ideological. It turns it into, yeah, an artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, they were great. It's interesting as well because I've noticed that you and I, we've got different styles, like, for
Mm,
different tastes, and that's another
yeah,
thing when you get so much art in a room like that, it's it's there's something for everyone, you know? It's,
absolutely.
yeah,
And
it's
it
really
changes every day. And like, I expected to be drawn to certain works, but it was the quieter ones actually that got me, possibly because, especially like the first 2 days, it was raining. So I don't know if you remember it, but like just the sound of the rain on those the tin roofs was so like overstimulating that I think I just was drawn to the quieter works. Like another one was Michael Giorgetti, I think his name is, from the Renshaws. Those were the giant paintings that had a sculptural element to it. Like it was sort of, there was one that had like a chrome piece sticking out of it. I don't know if you remember that one.
No, where were they located?
Ask me that. The Renshaws, that was near. No, couldn't tell
Okay.
you. I couldn't tell
No,
you.
that's all good. That's all good. Yeah, yeah, one of the other, booths I really liked was the, Station Gallery booth, especially the work of, Zach Langdon-Poll. Did you see the, he had those, jigsaw pieces in there?
Ah, yes, 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 yes.
Mm,
They were great. They were
yeah,
great.
where he merged, like, different, jigsaws to make his artwork, I guess. Yeah, it's just really interesting, like, materials and process, and,
Mm,
it just had a lot of standout. But he had a few different, types of work in there as well. Like, he had
yes.
those sculptures at the entrance that were,
Were
they
they
were
him as
marbles.
well?
Yeah, the marble sculptures with, like, the
Oh.
actual, so it was like one of David, but then David was removed, but it was just the base
Mhm.
and footprints and the tree that
Yeah,
was supporting, things
right.
like that.
Oh, see, I didn't
Yeah.
connect that with him as
Mm.
well.
Yeah, but he
Yeah, I
also
had
had
so many
the,
questions about that work.
yeah, yeah. He also had these, this ceramic bowl that was made
Mhm.
up. It was like say, like a broken bowl that had been put together using wire to sort of attach all the pieces, but there was all different ceramics. So some of it was like hundreds of years old, and then there
What?
was modern things. It was ceramics made from, all different parts of the world, but formed together
Oh.
to make a bowl. So it sort of speaks to his jigsaw paintings, but in a
That is
ceramic.
remarkable.
Yeah.
See, like now I regret not paying attention to that one because that sounds amazing. That's like only on the last day I discovered the I don't even remember which booth it was, but the giant pile of fish, of mechanical fish that were like moving around. That was so captivating. I didn't expect, and I was like, "Oh my God, they're only 500 something each." I nearly bought one.
Yeah. That had a lot of standout because they look so
Mm.
real, lifelike.
Totally, like the gill was moving. It was
Yeah,
really surreal and creepy, but in
yeah.
a good way.
Thankfully, they didn't back it up with the odor that it would have let off as well.
But yeah, good collectible piece.
Yeah, yeah. I like the tins they presented them in as
Yes,
well, you know, things like that. They've gone the extra mile. It was good.
I loved it. I thought it was so just a really good presentation. And then at the same time, I was like so amazed by it. But then this couple next to me was like, I'm not going to spend time on fish. Like they were just so dismissive. And I thought the number of times I encountered that where I would hear one person like saying like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is such a standout. And literally the next person was like, and just walked away. It's so
Yeah.
subjective.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I know, I even just found this from, manning the Lennox Street booth for a while, just like hanging out and just you see people. Some people walk up and spend a lot of time with my paintings, and others would hardly even look at them. And it's like that's fine, It's like got to find your people.
Absolutely. I mean, do you think that helps you, or how does it affect you to witness it firsthand, especially if people don't know that you are the artist and you just happen to be there?
I'm fine with it now. Like in the beginning, when I first started exhibiting my work, I
Yeah.
was really nervous about it. I
Mm.
was too shy to even stand in the gallery near the artworks
Same,
because
same,
I was
same,
worried I was
same.
going to hear someone say, "Oh, it's not very good, is it?" or something like that, and just destroy me. But now I just know it's not for everyone. It's like,
Yeah.
I've got it's like music, it's like food.
Yep.
You know, some people like tofu, some people like lasagna, some people like
Oh
steak.
my
It's
I like
it,
that. Yeah, in
it's
a way, I prefer the in-person thing to, like, say, a comment, like a random comment on social media. It feels like they're more sincere and it's not just trolling, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I've had some, I've had people say to my face some pretty nasty stuff about my work, but it's just their
I
opinion.
haven't had that quite yet, but
Oh,
yeah.
man, I got it from my grandfather. Oh,
No.
yeah,
When
yeah,
it's family, it's
yeah, I know.
stings particularly hard.
Yeah, he like because I got some a few works in the National Gallery of Australia in Canberra,
Mm.
and my grandmother was an artist in her younger years, and her and my grandfather drove all the way up to Canberra to see it. And they didn't even tell me they were going. And then they came back and then I saw them in a family do it. My grandfather said, "We drove all the way there to see that crap." It's like, "Hey, I didn't ask you." Yeah,
No, no.
yeah. They didn't stop me.
Shit. That's awful. That's so mean. I mean, there's a graceful way of saying, like,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily to my taste, but I'm proud of you. Oh, that's so funny. My worst experience of that was when I did like an early self-portrait in I think 2013, 14, and it was my first ever entry into the Archibald Prize. And it was like a partial nude self-portrait. And get this, so I was cutting or simulating cutting one of my breasts off. That was the premise of the painting. And so this was when I was still working in my parents' living room, right at the front, like the front door, you walk in and that's the first thing that you see. And so obviously we'd have like family friends come over and I'm just like working on this painting. And every single one of them would ask my dad or my mom, like, is she okay? Should I should I be concerned? So that's the closest I came to like being criticized to my
Yeah.
face.
It toughens you up, I think, a bit of criticism,
Absolutely.
but it depends on who it's coming from. Like, as I said with my
Yes.
grandfather, like, he's got nothing to do with the art world. He doesn't, so doesn't mean anything. It was just a nasty thing to say. But with, when it's from people who, like, even people within the art world and art critics, it's like, they can have their own opinions as well, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. You know, it's just their
Well,
opinion.
that's
As
the
I said,
thing,
some
right?
people like different things.
It's true. And I think
Mm,
it's hard for us, especially when the art critic has a real name, a real reputation. They've been there. They're so like part of the institution. It makes you second guess yourself if they, you know, like there was a time where I was like, I'm just going to stay under the radar. The work I'm going to make is not going to be too kind of noticeable that it'll be open to fire, right? But then you just have to take the risk and be like, this is me, this is my voice, and you're right. It's time. I think it's time and experience and exposure.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Hey artist, it's Claire here from the Art Career Academy. If you've been creating for years and you know it's time to go all in on your art career, then Tom and I are here to support you. If you're ready to grow your visibility, build more consistent income, and step fully into life as a professional artist, that's exactly what we help with. Our signature program, Going Pro, is designed for artists who are ready to uplevel. We support you with the clarity, confidence, and a solid plan to turn your creative practice into a thriving career, without the burnout or second guessing every move. At the Art Career Academy, we're all about raising up the art community and showing what's possible when artists back themselves. So to get started, grab our free creative cash flow cheat sheet. It's packed with 20 tried and tested ways to make an income from your art. Head to artcareeracademy.com to download it now. Okay, let's get back to the episode.
Alrighty. So who's on your hit list? Or...
Oh, I had some very cute ones. So Sue Ryan, again, I didn't pay attention to which booth, but she had these animal sculptures made out of found objects. So there was like, I remember there's a ginger cat. They're only about like this big. Ginger cat made of like fishing net and kind of like fishing related utensils. And I just like the poetry of like a cat obviously eating fish, and then it's made out of fishing equipment. They were really charming and kind of I don't know, kind of a nice like antidote to when you think of like other pop sculptures like a Jeff Koons, which is so kind of shiny and capitalistic. There was something a bit dinky about them that really like touched my heart.
Yeah, I think I saw them. They were all like woven up, like with fishing wire and
Yes,
stuff. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Apparently, it was all found objects from
Yep,
collected from walking on the beach and stuff, which is
that's it.
got a nice story to it. I love
That's
anything
it.
that's environmentally friendly.
Likewise, likewise.
Yeah, did you see the Damien Hirst painting that was there?
I
The
did, or the
butterflies?
butterflies. Well,
Mm.
are we calling it a
I
painting?
don't know, actually, that's the wrong word for it. The background was painted.
Yes,
No.
yes. And you know what? I saw it and it didn't register to me straight away that it was Damien Hirst. And I really liked that because I encountered it and I'm like, oh, this is a really cool collage of butterflies. And then I walked up closer to it, saw that they were real butterflies. And that's kind of when it sunk in and I was like, oh, this is Damien Hirst. And it was nice to like encounter such a well-known piece and forget for a moment, have a bit of amnesia and then remember. And I don't know, it's like a weird, like, you know what a dolly zoom is where it like like goes in and out at the same time. How did you feel about that piece?
Yeah, well, I was the same. It was like seeing it with fresh eyes because when I first saw it, I thought it was there was only Australians exhibiting there.
Exactly, me too.
And yeah, then it's like, oh no, like there's lots of secondary market artworks on sale as well. Like for
Hmm,
little booths that just had art collectors, you know,
exactly.
looking artworks, I guess.
Yeah.
But but yeah, you said a price tag on it, 1.2 mil.
No,
Yeah.
was that the most expensive work? Has to have been.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But you could stand there for ages looking at it. There was so much to take in. And
it
also
was.
the layout of it was the way it was all gridded up and it had many
Mm-hmm.
different shapes as well. There was like squares and diamonds and
It
stuff
was
also.
extraordinary. It really was like because they were real butterflies and the way that that they'd been cut up. I don't know, it was like it felt like life. It felt as complex as life, you
Mm.
know?
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased that that work was there. And it wasn't shown in any like really showy way. It kind of was just there, you know?
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Yeah. I just wasn't expecting to see it.
Oh, okay. What else did I pick? I did say Sydney Nolan. So that one huge Sydney Nolan piece, which gallery was that? It's one of the first ones.
Justin
There was a
Miller
Brett
art.
Whiteley. I think it was Justin Miller. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was a beauty. I mean, I love when he uses muted colors. I love his application of paint. Like he is my all-time favorite Australian artist. And it was such a good reminder to have like someone as great as him next to like younger artists in the next booth. It was, yeah, special.
Yeah, like that Justin Miller art booth had a lot of great work in there. Like they had they had a Warhol drawing. They had
Yeah,
a whole bunch of Ben Quilty pieces and
that's right. Albert Namatjira, so Vincent's grandfather,
yeah, John
his
Olsen.
landscapes were beautiful.
Yeah, totally. They even had a Prince Charles drawing or King Charles.
That's right.
Yeah, which was interesting. One of the both.
That's right.
Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention to it because I never look. I'm one of those bad people who just don't look at the tags. So I just take the work in freshly and then I look. And when I realized, I was like, what is that? Is that real?
Yeah.
Felt like a bit of a gimmick, I think.
Yeah, but it's Provenance, isn't it? And
Yep.
that's Xanadu. It's an artwork by the king. Well, if that means
It
anything.
was charming. It was charming. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was chatting to someone the other day, and I was telling them about it, and I said it was a drawing by King Charles, and they said, "Who's that?" I go, Prince Charles. And they go, "No, never heard of him." And it's like you've never
Oh,
been
that's
royal.
amazing.
It just goes to show
Wow.
the age we're living in.
I cannot imagine anyone. Wow. There you go. That
I thought it
person
was
is
a
a
joke at
unicorn.
first, but no, he was serious.
Amazing. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
I think I only had like one other, Ross Laurie, Hills to the Valley, Edwina Corlett. Yeah, Edwina Corlett had some interesting ones as well.
Definitely. Yeah. She had Reese Lee stuff in there as well, which was good to see.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I've got a couple more here. I've got
Mm.
Mike Houston, the Geo Rocks. Did you see them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, remind me again.
Michael Lett Gallery.
Hmm.
That was really interesting because it was a booth that stood out. It was just completely different to everything else that was going on there. It was like those fish, it was like an interrupter. So you go to the booth and there was nothing on the walls apart from some fluorescent paper with some
Yep,
price tags on it, similar
that's
to
right.
going to a butcher or something like that. But he'd created
That's right.
these rocks and turned them into little characters. And on the first day, I think they were like $299 per kilo on the first 2 days, and then the third day it went up to $399 per kilo, and then the fourth day
Right.
it went up to $499 per kilo. But he was, like, warning everyone, it's like, "This is gonna go up in price."
Mm.
And just the way he'd approached everything, it was really playful, and it was, it just snapped you out of this, just looking at art on walls constantly
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah, I think conceptual art can be real hit and miss, especially at an art fair. But I like when there's a sincerity to it. I like when it's not trying too hard. Like I didn't even mention because I didn't write down the name of the artist, but the one as soon as you walk in, one of the first ones you see is this taxidermied water buffalo. Do you remember that? I mean, you can't forget that one. Um, and so that's actually a Filipino animal. So I grew up around they're called carabao. So that they're like the foundation of agriculture and life in the Philippines. And it was just so like it kind of took me out of it because it was so familiar and so weird to see it in the context of an art fair. I should have mentioned that first. But yeah, I didn't write down who the artist was, which booth it was. I'm so bad with that.
Yeah.
But the other thing with the talks, did you go to any of the talks?
I didn't. I went to your talk.
You did.
I wasn't in the talk space, I was at the booth. But, yeah, I didn't make it around to any of them, but I heard there was some really good ones there.
Yeah, I only managed to get to the photography one. So there were 4 photographers and Amber Cresswell Bell, who has published those fantastic books on portraiture, abstract art, I think landscape. It was a really, really interesting discussion because I think because I do so much portrait painting, photography is a strangely relevant part of my job, which I'm not trained in. So I'm always keen to hear what photographers have to say. And one of them in particular is a portrait photographer. And it was just, yeah, really insightful. And I didn't expect to get anything out of the talks, but yeah, well worth it. Next time I know what to do. I'm going to be all about the talks.
Yeah, yeah, I think you gotta go a few times and get the hang of things. It's like a whole world.
It's a whole experience and
Yeah,
you have to know what you're there for. I think the impression that I got was that there were some people who were just there to be seen, you know? Some people were literally just there to kind of make their presence known, experience the kind of like ebb and flow of collectors, artists, and the kind of richness of that world culturally. And then there were some who were really there for collecting, like actually eyeing specific, emerging artists, mid-career, etc. And there were some who were, emerging artists wanting to put themselves out there. And I spoke to several of them, and it was I realized that there was a real etiquette around introducing yourself to a gallery. I don't know, did you kind of speak to anyone who sort of talked about like, yeah, I'm here, I really want to get into this gallery, so I kind of want to just subtly make myself known. Did you speak to anyone like that?
I didn't, but I did see that Mars Gallery put out a thing on Instagram saying, "Don't bother us at the art fair." Like, they then took it down.
Yeah.
But
There was some rude ones. Like I've had some bad stories from friends.
yeah, it was sort of saying like, "This is the place to sell yourself to the gallery."
Yeah.
But I think it's like building any relationship. You've got to build over time, and it's
Mm.
like going in for the kiss on the first meeting. You got to get to know each other, and see if you like each other and if you're a good fit. Yeah, I think it's a great place to
Yeah.
sort of introduce yourself, though. But as far as saying
I
something,
think that's the thing. Like apparently it's okay to like get into conversation with them and maybe slip your name in gracefully, but don't give them a card. Yeah, don't like openly say, I was wondering if I can, if you can look at my work. Apparently you send them an email afterwards. So this is for your listeners who are like planning to go to the art fair next year. If you want to go there to scope out a gallery, don't be really forward about it. Send an email, but check out. I guess it's a good way to compare, right? To compare all the galleries, see what their vision is, actually talk to the people, see how personable or not personable they are.
but also find your fit too. Like,
Yeah.
well, if you're a certain type of artist and you've got your sights set on a particular gallery, and then you go to their booth and they're not showing anything vaguely that
Yeah.
looks like your work,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to be the right fit. So it's a good way of going to 200 galleries in one weekend. Working out where you
And
fit.
actually, that's one of my questions was, do you think that the booths like represented themselves accurately? Because obviously they only have so much space, so they curate which artists they pick, which works from those artists. Did you find yourself being surprised by certain galleries that you were like, oh, I was expecting this, or, it's a more limited range of what they would normally showcase?
Yeah, it's hard to say really for me because it is my first time going, but I did realize that a lot of not many galleries did a solo presentation. It was usually a group show. Spread the risk, show a
Yep,
wider array of people
totally.
to work with, and
Totally.
because if you're doing a solo show, it could be quite risky. But I noticed that Niagara galleries, I can't
Mm,
remember the lady that they showed, but the paintings were beautiful and they sold out straight away as far as I saw. But
yeah.
so I think it can work in your favor as well because I went back to that booth time and time again to check out the
Mm,
work. Um, whereas other ones could look
yeah.
more like a stock room. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's yeah, it was interesting what was selling. Did you kind of observe any trends in terms of the subject matter, the sizes of works, price ranges?
Yeah, I found that the big names sold pretty quickly. Those household names that, like, art collectors know very well, know and trust, if you know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Whereas, I guess, younger artists, take a bit of time to build that trust because, art's pretty can be pretty expensive and,
Totally. Totally.
you don't wanna blow a lot of cash on someone on an artwork that's not gonna be relevant in 5 years' time,
Hmm.
you know? But,
And I think that's the part that kind of goes against the grain for me as an artist to sort of it's such a it's so kind of hyper capitalist in a way, the fair, that it really detaches you from the process unless you actually speak to the artists. And that was the other experience for me, was seeing how much of a difference it was for collectors to talk to the artists themselves. Um, because I've spoken with other artists who's like, the less you say about the work, the more mystery you keep, the better. But I found the opposite, where people, collectors really responded to however specific, especially if there's like a whole story about why you make work this way? Like, did you find you had discussions like that with people?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was great actually. I had people asking all sorts of questions about my work. But yeah, I think in this day and age, people want to know more because especially with in the past, like the popularity in buying art from dead artists. It,
Yes.
you very rarely got to hear out of their mouth what the artworks. And it was usually like curators and gallerists who were then selling in the artwork and piecing together whatever information they can to then talk about the artwork. It's better to hear it out of the artist's mouth, and that's a
Mm,
trend that I'm finding is getting more and more popular in this day and
I
age.
agree. I agree. Even on social media, I think people are really appreciating that authenticity, that it's not there's a pricelessness, I think, to speaking to an artist and really kind of like hearing their personal lore and sort of I guess for the collector, almost projecting themselves into a future where maybe, the artist is long gone, but the work remains and kind of, yeah, but they're seeing it being built in the present. It's a powerful feeling.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, well, I- I've got two more here.
Hmm.
Well, actually, three, and then we'll
Go
wrap
for it.
this up.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mm.
did you see Clara Adolph's work with
I
chalk horse
did,
gallery?
yes. Chalk horse. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
That's
love
one I
her work.
returned to.
Yeah, it's yeah, yeah. I'd seen her work at the Melbourne Art Fair and been following her online, but yeah, to see that big painting they had in the flesh, and it was only there on the first 2 days. Like after that, I think it sold and was taken down, and someone else was put up. So I was
Yeah.
glad that I caught that while it was up. And yeah, another big highlight for me was your work and your new paintings as
Oh.
well. Yeah, it was great to see in the flesh, and I
Oh.
love the yeah, what would you call those the panels that had the doors that open in and out?
They're altarpieces, so winged
Altarpieces.
altarpieces. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're actually modeled after religious altarpieces. And I started working on that surface in 2022 when I did my first solo show with Nanda Hobbs. And really, when we were sort of discussing the direction of the show, I was encouraged to kind of fully embrace my childhood and my heritage. And simultaneously, I was actually working on my memoir, my first book that came out earlier this year. And the two of them kind of went hand in hand because it was like a direct reference to my childhood and kind of how the first artworks I ever saw were in churches. And if for anyone who went to the fair and saw, like, so you can close them. So they have these hinges that close them. And on the front of them, there are these, it looks like a wallpaper with like this blue background and golden kind of little keys, gears, lock boxes, springs. And that pattern actually comes from the Serbian Orthodox Church where my brother was baptized. And on the sort of the frescoes, the murals inside of the church, there are saints and there's different kind of religious stories. And in between, there's this pattern that's meant to represent like the mysteries and the things that we don't know, the things that you kind of just have to have faith in. And as someone who's coming at it from a secular perspective, because I'm not religious in any way, I sort of wanted to borrow sort of the origins of my understanding of art, especially with the spiritual aspect to it. I think we encounter things differently when there's a sense of awe, when there's a sense of the sublime about it. And I really wanted to tap into that feeling of the sublime, even though I was creating secular works about archetypes. So if you notice a lot of the titles, one was like The Alchemist, The Dreamer, The Wanderer, The Wayfarer. It's these, I'm trying to find modern archetypes. Um, Basically to describe, universal stories about people that cross culture and gender and age, etc.
Yeah. No, they're awesome. It's so like
Thank you.
I can see the elevation of the work as well. Just the colors, there was lots of vibrancy in there and detail, and yeah, it was you could see that they were new works for you.
Yeah, yeah. A new energy, a lot of rest, a lot of downtime, which really pays off, actually.
And once again, awesome to see in the flesh. Yeah.
Yes. I wish everyone could see the works in the flesh because it is very different. You know, it's hit and miss if your work photographs well and if it translates well on social media. So, yeah, always pays to see it in person.
And for me, my number one highlight was actually having work in there and being part of it
Yep.
with the
Yes.
Lennox Street,
Yes.
and showing in a booth alongside D-Face and Hush and John Olsen and Tim Storia and Bettina Willer, and
Yeah.
just being part of it and being able to walk around and then turn a corner and see my own artwork in there was yeah, just a massive honor. I want to be
Isn't it?
part of it in one way or another for every year going forward. It was awesome experience, you know.
It's a real high, isn't it? I think
Yeah,
to feel the sense of community and the sense of belonging is it's such a reward in itself. Like regardless if the works sell, I think just being in the room is amazing.
yeah. And all these other artists that we've mentioned today, you know, to be able to see these artists and then turn the corner and see your own artwork in there, it's a real, I don't know, it's just, it's an acknowledgement, you know, that you're
Absolutely.
doing it, you know. Yeah,
You feel very legitimate for sure. It's a
exactly,
legitimization.
exactly. So yeah, so just to wrap up, I guess anyone who's into art and that hasn't been to Sydney Contemporary, I highly recommend taking the trip. Get yourself a whole weekend pass because there is so much to see. And I don't think there's any better way of getting an overview of the
Yep.
Australian art market all in one building, and just to see, like, not just the artworks, but all the people who are part of the art world as well,
Mm,
all in one room. It's just yeah, it's just a great networking event. It's great
yeah.
art education, all these things. So yeah, I can't speak
And it's
high.
a great venue as well. The venue is amazing because it's so it used to be a former it's called carriage works. So trains used to be repaired there. And just the you get a sense of the space. There's so much air, there's so much light. Because I think the Melbourne one is now in like an exhibition center of some
Yeah,
kind.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
bit stale, a bit too modern. Mm, yeah, but it's, not knocking the venue or anything, but compared to Carriage Works, it's a bit more rustic in Carriage Works.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, Laurabelle, thanks so much for taking the time to do this.
No worries, Tom.
Good to chat about all this while it's fresh in our memories, and
Absolutely.
yeah, I hope the listeners got a lot out of it, and those of you who went and saw Sydney Contemporary this year, I hope you've enjoyed our recap.
All right. Thanks, Tom. See you next time.